What's up, everybody? Mohan13 here, and I spilled the wheel, and well, it landed on this one, so we're doing this. Wait a minute, let me just, the fuck? Let me just turn that on. Alright, let's get into this. Now then, we start off where we left off, right after the Two Heroes movies, with the whole training between Class 1A and B already happening in this timeline. And so, in fact, we start with the whole thought of the internship starting up again. With Lincoln guessing to himself that this has to be where things start to turn. More so, this is where the war starts to happen. Well, thinking to himself. And with this, Lincoln and Izuku are shown standing somewhere outside of the plumber base at Max's shop. With them knowing that they're going to have to break in, since they can't really go up and just say, hey, we're looking up a DNA match for this, since, again, the plumbers don't know about the fact that they've told Class 1A, meaning that now they have to sneak in quietly. With this, we see the Tubos activating the Omni and omnitrix before transforming the Big Chill and Ice Wing and slowly making their way down, eventually transforming in the brain frog and gray matter as a way to just jump around and to slightly access the systems. And with that, as it's like the dead of night, I'm saying at least about 1 a.m. at night, no one's here, which makes it easier for them to activate the access panel and start looking at Daddy. Start looking up Daddy before eventually running to his profile of what the plumbers have on him. And with that being, and thus they also show his real alias, height, hair, real name. Well, real name is what gets them, Toya Todoroki. Which means that their future selves were right to say that Shoto's brother killed him in Endeavor. And with them, they know that another reason why security is so low is thanks to this scare, as taking him back led to a slight intergalactic problem that most of the plumbers are dealing with, meaning that they probably won't be able to take place in their internship, meaning that the best place to go to is Endeavor. That way they can break the news to him and make sure that him and Shoto already has a suspicion that was confirmed right by this. Basically just to drop it on Endeavor so to make sure that him and Shoto are prepared to, if it comes to it, kill Toya. As basically right now they're hell-bent on preventing that future from happening. And with that, they slowly make their way out and fly back to UA before eventually falling asleep. This leads to them waking up in the same mind space again. Same mind space as the previous users once again. Seeing the dream of Yorichi and All for One fighting. With the first Yorichi telling them that things are coming and that they're way past singularity point and to be ready. With Lincoln and Izuku realizing they can actually talk here and saying yes. As the whole Alien X situation made it so they could actually... And this actually starts a slight conversation with them, asking the singularity of what, along with them asking Yorichi just where are all the other quirks that they know they should get. Basically, the whole Alien X situation basically led to them being able to, freely speak with the previous users now. Meaning that there isn't them having their mouth covered in the void, it's just them. And after their talk with Yorichi, they wake up knowing exactly all the quirks they're going to get and knowing exactly how to train them. As with this, Shoto finally comes up to them asking them if they want to join him at Endeavor's agency. Basically, the main 6 now all saying yes before going. And with that, they go to Endeavor's agency. With them meeting him and going his name as a Ken, and him telling him that he wouldn't have chosen Miss Shoto than asked for them to come. And with that, Endeavor does finally rush off to stop the whole Glass Man again. But before he can actually get jumped by the other villains, before Hawks even get there, Link and Nezuko are the first one to take him down, as they're basically on high alert completely right now. Well, mostly all the time now, actually. Using Black Whip to restrain and slam the villain into the ground. Slamming the ambushes into the ground. With Hawks getting there just a second after. With him saying that he's impressed that those two were actually able to take them down faster than he could before he even got here. And with this, he starts the whole spiel about the Para-Liberation Army, handing them all books. Except Link and Nezuko can, thanks to multiple aptitudes of plumber training and, all that fancy stuff, are actually able to tell that this is a secret meaning. As one of the protocols for the plumbers, i.e. Morse are in codes in a sense, with them wondering what's going on. With this, absolutely confirmed the fact that war that the future versions themselves were talking about. And with this, after a couple of days, they finally tell Shoto what they found out about Dabi, absolutely confirming the fact that he's Toya Todoroki. Basically, which also kind of rocks Shoto. But didn't Lincoln tell Shoto to get a grip as, well, he's going to need to if he's going to have to train and beat his brother. With Lincoln reminding Shoto that while he may think he's his older brother, it's obvious that he doesn't love him or any of his family anymore. As they also again relayed what their future selves told him about the fact that Toya killed both Shoto and Endeavor before blowing up. Meaning that there's a high possibility chance that he might have to take his brother down. And with that, they also asked Shoto what did he think would be the easiest way to break this to his father. With him thinking about it, and with this is when Endeavor comes up asking him if they would like to join him for dinner. With the 6 boys looking at each other and realizing that the problem solved itself. And so with that, they go to the Endeavor household, meet, talking stuff, and halfway through it, Lincoln starts to talk, telling them that, well, more so just telling them to look at this. As Lincoln pulls out his plumber badge, with him explaining what the plumbers are, saying that they have information on almost every villain imaginable, and they had to kind of break the rules and go into secret files for this one. And with it, as it opens up and a hologram pops around, showing the complete DNA match of Toya Todoroki and Dabi. Now, this shocks Endeavor, Fumi, and Natsuo, with Endeavor asking and saying that Toya is dead. But Lincoln replying that somehow Endeavor also finished saying that he even found Toya's jaw. How? Lincoln telling him that somehow he survived, and if Lincoln had to guess, it was probably all for one. Lincoln proceeds to keep saying that he has to guess that Toya's body is made up of Nomu parts or something. There has to be a reason why he's still alive. But then Lincoln also grabs his plumber device, as he starts typing in something, and typing in something and puts it down on the table again, as it's shown Lincoln Nezuko is accelerate and speed. Basically, them Lincoln telling Nezuko to come on, the floor is closing, before rushing through it and ending before crashing on their face on the other side. And with this, it starts showing events of the whole 10K episode. Them going around, eventually finding themselves, while the Todoroki family can just watch. Before eventually, Lincoln skips it a bit to them asking what happened to everyone. Asking if Kazuki was the number one hero. He's dead. Shoto, he's dead. Which leads to even more shock for the family as the future versions of Izuku and Lincoln takes themselves to where the gravesite is of most of Class 1A. With them starting to explain, with them asking how, Katsuki, all for one, Shigaraki, before getting to Shoto and telling him that his brother killed him and Endeavor. With him laying out, with future Izuku laying out a little huff saying that it's kind of funny. Endeavor trying to protect, with him explaining exactly how, saying that Endeavor tried to protect Shoto from the blast, but it didn't work. As Shoto had died from his wounds and Dabi had gone off like a rocket. And with that, Lincoln grabs his power badge again and looks down, telling Endeavor that he knows that this is something hard for him to realize, but aliens and stuff like that exist. Well, kind of just freaking them out even kind of more. And Lincoln telling Endeavor that mostly everyone they know is dead in the future. Everyone's broken apart, and it's depressing to say the least. And now Lincoln and Izuku both finally saying that they're going to try their hardest to stop a future like that from happening. But they kind of need help outside of the plumbers. And, Dabi's Endeavor's son, and he must have did something for him to end up like that. With him saying that, he gets that, with him saying that they get that Endeavor isn't the best father, but right now isn't the time. So he's going to have to take care of his son. When Endeavor realizing this, he tells him okay, that they'll continue talking about this tomorrow, as he gets up to just go and think, with Natsuo doing the same. With him looking at, he doesn't know really what to say. He just found out that his older brother's alive, and that while he may not care for Endeavor, he doesn't really want, while he hates Endeavor, he doesn't want him dead. And he loves Shoto, and to find out that his brother murdered him and Endeavor just leaves a bitter taste in his mouth. As while he's walking, this is when the pavement, whatever's on the road signs, start to lift up, and they grab him. With Fuyumi saying thank you to the two boys for telling them this. She tries to do something, which, she tries to start to clean up the table with the others helping them. With Izuku replying that Shoto's kind, that he'll forgive his father. From what his future self told him, it seems like he did, even while in the end. But he doesn't really know. And they start helping Fuyumi clean up, as there's a bit of a heavy weight on all of them to know what's about to happen. To know that, which, as we skip to Endeavor, he's seeing that picture of Toya asking himself why, how could everything go wrong like this? Basically, just remembering how exactly this came to be, and him just wondering to himself, why? As Toya's a murderous villain now, and he kills Shoto in the future. But this also leads him to think to himself that next time he sees him, he could try and reason with him. Try to. And this starts Endeavor down even more of a path of more redemption and character development. But this, after Endeavor's able to gain his bearings and the four boys walk out, well, things start to happen in canon, which the car wasn't made for 6 people, so they kind of have to squish together before seeing Natsuo being held up. With things going as simple as in canon, although something that also happens in Lincoln is Izuku using Black Whip to save the cars and Lincoln transforming. Actually, no. Lincoln and Izuku both use Black Whip to save the cars of the people, but Clyde is actually the one to rush and land some solid hits on the... I can't remember the dude's name. But eventually after this, Lincoln and Izuku transform into new forms, fast track, and... Well, just fast track right now. They haven't named him. Neither of them have named this transformation as they rush forward. And basically, they do something that some real-life people actually do. Condensing the most and letting them release the moment to get, an extra boost of speed as well. They know that this alien is physically stronger than Accelerate. While not as fast, still strong. With them revving up and punching the villain in the face, knocking him out. This is when, after transforming back, this is when Lincoln gets an idea. With him asking Zuko, does he remember what the future versions of himself did? And thinking that they can do it, asking the omnitrix to scan him, Omnitrix to scan him with the watches blinking about the fact that there's that DNA damage. Do you want to repair? And with that, they do. Basically removing the trigger from his DNA and carrying him of it. With this, he's taken into custody, stuff like that, with them going back to UA. Well, more like back to UA. While this, we skip a little bit back further in time, as we see Ochako going through her whole internship thing, except when she looks up, she sees, while in front of the plane, she sees 2 people on a hoverboard. It looks like Izuku and Lincoln, but this also makes her think that it might be those evil Galvins. As they realize that that's exactly what they look like, with the 2, as she must realize that this must be Albedo and Ajax, with the 2 looking back at her, smiling, before going off. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for it. With 2 smiling at her before they end up going off on the hoverboard, flying off. Knowing that they've implanted a seed that will help them in the long run. As, unbeknownst to any of them, something on Albedo and Ajax's wrist, it looks like an omnitrix. And with that, everybody, we're going to end this part off.